lived here my whole life. I have lived here my whole life.
There's this article over here from the National Post, talks about the Canadian Federal Immigration Minister Mark Miller. He's blaming people from India, those Indian international students going to post-secondary institutions in Canada for whatever problem. So, it started back in the 1980s. Blame Chinese people from Hong Kong immigrating to Vancouver and other places in Canada for jacked up housing prices. And then 10 years ago, like around 2013 to COVID, blame the rich Chinese people from mainland China for a lack of affordable housing and local people being priced out of the housing market for purchase, the housing market where you buy. And then now it's you blame the quote-unquote poor students from India who want to improve themselves and whatever for a lack of rental housing and a lack of jobs. So you blame the rich Chinese people, the quote-unquote rich Chinese people, for a lack of housing, a lack of affordable housing, and pricing people out of the housing market. And then 10 years later, you blame the quote-unquote poor international students from India for a lack of rental housing and a lack of jobs and a lack of university spaces. Everybody is the problem except for white people in Canada. Blame the rich Chinese, blame the poor students from India, whatever, who pay their own fees. Blame everybody. People from China are the problem. People from India are the problem. Foreigners are the problem. Everybody is the enemy except for the local people in Canada and the government. I'm local. I'm born and raised in that country, Canada, Vancouver, and they have stripped me of my civil rights because I'm part of the problem. Foreigners born in Canada are the problem. This is just a trend, a hostile environment policy against anyone who's foreign. Doesn't matter if you're immigrant from China, immigrant from India, or a foreigner born inside of Canada. You're the problem. I'm the problem. That's the article. That's the trend. And this article here, Mark Miller just blaming, going deeper into the hole, blaming everyone except for himself, and not blaming everyone but himself and his political master, such as Justin Trudeau and the federal government of Canada. He even goes so far as to blame the provincial governments and the colleges and universities themselves. I don't like the provincial government. That's the real problem, personally, for me. But you just get the idea. The whole place is messed up. Canada's mismanaged. Everybody is the problem except for themselves. Western countries like Canada, USA, and whatever, they treat quote-unquote foreigners as trash because they think that they're better than everyone and everybody else lives miserable lives in a poor country. But the reality cannot be further from the truth. it's a false superiority complex that the West has, in particular those dirty Canadians and Americans. And a big part of it is due to their mainstream media that's providing them a false narrative and a false perception of the world. I'm here in Samjan, and where are the factory chimneys? No, there's no pollution problem. And fake news Western media is always saying, oh, the air quality today in Hong Kong is not good because of quote unquote China. Well, here I am. We're in mainland China right now. Where are the factory chimneys? And where's the pollution? Things are fine. Fake news. If it's a hot day with stale air, what do you expect? Of course, there's going to be stale air from car fumes in Hong Kong and whatever big city there is. And even over here, it's all electric cars. What's the problem? Fake news Western media is going on a smear campaign to try and divide and conquer China, just like how they divide and conquer local Canadian citizens and Americans in those deranged countries. Team blue, team red, Republican versus Democrats, or liberals and conservatives in Canada. The whole thing's just deranged. It's a divided society. Those dirty Canadians, they're a divided and isolated society, and they treat foreigners who are born in Canada as subhuman and not as Canadian citizens. That's just wrong. I just don't understand what those goofballs in Canada and USA are doing these days. Learn about human rights. Learn about family reunion between like spouses and minor children, and I just don't understand what they're doing. But multiculturalism is a failure. That's what. But only the stupid, dumb politicians keep pushing the false narrative that multiculturalism is successful. It's an absolute farce. And you know what? Those neo-Nazi white supremacists are right all along in terms of multiculturalism and liberalism being a failure.
好消息！我国已经大家都传推销，全国消费困难开始了。 小鸡天王，小鸡壳10元去买新送万鸡，欢迎购买品尝。欢迎光临小小花园，点心小冰淇淋，活着时钟。